Hey everybody, it's me Henry. Today, we're gonna talk about the 3 things emotionally stable people don't do. Let's get started. Emotional stability is a direct contributor to happiness and living for a good life. Without it, you risk falling into a pattern of jealousy, stress, heartache, and depression. Luckily, anyone can make a choice to improve their emotional health. You can change the way you think and alter your daily habits to make yourself more emotionally successful and enhance your quality of life. What does it mean to be emotionally stable? It means to choose actions and thoughts that contribute directly to the sense of calmness and serenity. It means to develop habits that bring harmony into your life and your interactions with everything and everyone. How do you become more emotionally stable? Well, for starters, let's learn from the emotionally stable people the things they don't do. First, judging yourself for how you feel. It doesn't make sense to judge yourself for things you can't control, especially your emotions. No legal system in the world that I'm aware of would sentence someone to prison for feeling angry. No matter how rageful a person felt, as a society, we only judge people for what they do, for their behavior. And the reason for this is simple. It doesn't make sense to judge someone for something they can't control, and you can't directly control how you feel. You can't just turn your sadness any more than you can crank up your happiness. But it's a strange quirk of human nature that while we know this is true, especially for other people, we ignore it when it comes to ourselves. Example, we empathize with other people for feeling anxious, but tell ourselves we are weak the minute we start to feel nervous about something. Or we are understanding with friends who are feeling depressed or grieving, but we tell ourselves to suck it up and stop being such lazy bum. It's more than a little ironic. You're compassionate with your friends when they feel bad, but the moment you begin to suffer emotionally, you criticize yourself for it. One of the problems with judging yourself for how you feel is that it adds a second layer of painful emotion on top of the pain you already feel. When you put yourself down for feeling sad, now you feel sad and ashamed. When you worry about feeling angry, you feel anxious on top of feeling angry. When you criticize yourself for feeling afraid, now you feel frustrated and scared. Feeling bad is hard enough without making yourself feel bad for feeling bad. If you want to break free of the habit of criticizing yourself for how you feel, learn to practice a little self-compassion. Be curious, not judgmental, by Walt Whitman. Number 2, trying to control everything. Control issues are usually a sort of insecurity and a fear of helplessness. Just like the need to find meaning everywhere is a sign you are afraid of uncertainty. Needing to control everything is a sign you are afraid to feel helpless. Trouble is, you are helpless. At least in a lot of cases, it is simply the nature of life that we can't control everything we wish we could. Example, you can't control whether your best friend stops smoking so much weed every day. You can't control whether your boss thinks you're smart. You can't control whether your spouse feels stressed out at the end of the day. Your power and influence in this life are limited. You can try to influence people in the way you think is best, but it's a mistake to assume the responsibility for the outcomes. When your unconscious belief is that you should be able to control the outcome of everything, you end up with unrealistically high expectations for yourself, and inevitably, these expectations get violated, leading to big emotional swings. Example, you walk in on your best friend smoking weed after he told you he would quit, leading to surge of frustration and disappointment. Your boss gives you a bunch of negative feedback after the presentation you thought was great, leading to shame and self-doubt. Your spouse comes from stress again despite the fact that you call them that day at lunch to check in, leading to anger and resentment. Remind yourself that it's okay to feel helpless. Sometimes we just can't help. Living in denial about that isn't going to help anyone in the long run, least of all yourself. Lowering your expectations to a realistic level doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're being honest with yourself. Finally, have the humility to accept that you can't control nearly as much as you would like. Do your best, but don't pretend that you are God. Number 3, making decisions based on emotions instead of values. People who spend their time running away from painful feelings usually have no energy left for the things that matter most, their highest aspirations. We all want to feel good, but the decision to feel good now often comes at a heavy cost for how we feel later. Asking a friend for reassurance when your world feels better now. But in the long run, you are teaching your brain that you're not capable of dealing with your own anxiety. This erodes your confidence and makes you more anxious long term. Or letting that sarcastic comment fly during an argument with your spouse feels good in the moment, but in long run, you are destroying trust in your relationship. Staying in bed because you're not motivated feels better now. But in the long run, you're killing your self-esteem because you're training your mind not to believe that you follow through on your commitments to yourself. It's not that emotions and feelings are bad or always misleading. Sometimes they're quite useful. But it's a mistake to treat your feeling as gospel. The reality is that our emotions are often in direct conflict with our values. If you want to feel more emotionally balanced, you must learn to subordinate your feelings to your value. And the best way to do this is by constantly reminding yourself of those values and aspirations. Do I care about feeling cozy in a bed or getting down to my goal weight and being healthy and vital? Do I care about feeling less anxious now or become a confident person? Do I care about feeling right or having a good relationship with my spouse? You can make decisions based on how you feel or your value. Choose wisely. That's all for the sharing today. If you learned something, find values, and like this video, please consider to smash the subscribe button and turn on all the notifications so that you're not going to miss out any videos from this channel. And most importantly, leave your message, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. I would love to read your comment and reply to your comment. And I hope to see you in the next video.